know what you're gonna say. You can't do that from the shoulder. Oh, really? That's news to me. Idiots. You can bump from any position you want to. It's not a science.
Today's video is going to be a bit different here, because if you haven't heard, but things are really accelerating here in Minnesota, and it's rather dangerous. There could be a gunman anywhere around any corner in any bush, ready to take away your life. So you gotta be extra cautious with everything these days lately. Champlin, double shooting just after 2 a.m. White man suspect in dark navy uniform and black SUV were dressed in uniforms possibly impersonating police officers. Police found shell casings at this address. But even more concerning, now confirmed, this shooting in Champlin occurred at a senator's home. Also shots fired at a representative's home in Brooklyn Park. Suspect white man still at large and impersonating law enforcement. And we'll go to the Brooklyn Park shooting details here. Brooklyn Park police issued a shelter-in-place notice in surrounding area of the shooting. The surrounding areas, BKB-PD issuing shelter in place in order in 3-mile radius of Edinburgh Golf Course for emergent event. Police are looking for suspect. And here's a little map of that location. You notice there's some bodies of water there, a golf course across that, and the home over there. Kind of like that home right there. I think the house might be brown or something. I'm suspecting it's some sort of fancy brown building that you'd expect some sort of House of Representatives to live in with their oolags and gulags of money. Developing, multiple sources confirm with Alpha News that DFL Senator John Hoffman and his wife and former House Speaker Melissa Hortman were shot at their homes overnight by a person impersonating law enforcement. And the big man himself of the state has something to say to address this matter. And no, it's not to complain about his many failures, but the loss of life.
And a sense of service. Thank you for being here. In a moment, you'll hear from law enforcement officials who will...
Now, if you don't know who this man is, he's famous for having to call EMS because he guzzled too much horse cum and he had to get his stomach pumped out of it. But he also failed to win the 2024 election as Vice President Governor Walz.
Share with you what they can as up-to-minute update on the situation here in Minnesota. You're going to be joined by Commissioner Bob Jacobson, BCA Superintendent Drew Evans, State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogojevich, Champlin Park Police Chief Snyder,
all the big names coming out.
Mark Bruley, as well as the mayor of Brooklyn Park. We're here today because an unspeakable tragedy has unfolded in Minnesota. My good friend and colleague, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband Mark were shot and killed early this morning in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination.
Oh, and you know it's those Drumpfers, it's the mega boomers, it's the boomer waffing, unleashing their attack and vengeance for many Democrats and their Democratic policies during the Biden regime. That's who's done it right. That's who Balls went on tour complaining about, calling the bunch of terrorists and villains and evil people that are anti-patriotic. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's the case. In fact, it seems it was a bit more divided within their own house of a party. Given the targeted shootings of state lawmakers overnight, we are asking the public to not attend today's planned demonstration across Minnesota out of an abundance of caution. That's right. Today, there was a little protest called the No Kings, and these posters here were found in the squad car used by the assassin who murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband. And why did he do that? Why would another Democrat kill one another? Surely they don't hate each other that much. They're all politically aligned on pretty much every single belief. That was discovered here recently, where they are of unvarying, unchanging opinions amongst the left. But that's just it. They're so collected and hive-minded, where if one really steps out of line, it justifies the others to kill them, to crucify them, and to put them on the cross of shame. And Melissa most certainly stepped out of line, especially serving as the House Speaker of Minnesota.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and
Ooh, she's crying.
we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal.
People are mad at her
that wouldn't include that provision.
that they had to offer.
Like, that's...
Now, what vote is she talking about? Well, there was a recent bill that needed to get done so the Minnesota government could actually do its job and not be shut down for the next year or so. So they had to quickly get this bill passed through. And one of the things that they voted to get off of that bill was providing health care for illegal migrants. And that's a real blow to Minnesota and the lib shits out here. Because currently Minneapolis and St. Paul are serving as sanctuary cities, but they can't legally provide them health care now. Oh, so if one of them gets hurt or smokes a little bit too much ketamine or meth, they might have to pay out of their own pocket. Oh, what a shame. I'm sure they could afford it after coming all the way from Guatemala. So she stepped out of line. And she went her own way with her own ideas to do some righteousness for the public. What a hero, what a legend. Well, unfortunately, Melissa, it's a bit too late for that. You know, you've already worked your way throughout the liberal party here and got yourself in this sticky mess here. Oh my gosh, and my link went away. Let's go here. That's right. Minnesota House Queer Caucus on historic Trans Day of Visibility rally. St. Paul, Minnesota on Friday, March 31st, the Minnesota House Queer Caucus joined out front in Minnesota. Lieutenant Governor Penny Flanagan, House Speaker Melissa Hortman, and an advocates to celebrate Trans Day of Visibility. That's right, Melissa Hartman completely supported Governor Walz's tranny bill, where he said, yes, if you want your children to get mutilated and their genitals severed from their body, that is okay by us. We support it, and if you don't support it and your child wants it, you'll go to jail. But not only that, Melissa Foley was a complete supporter and advocate for having late-term abortion all the way up to the day that the child is to be born. So she towed the line, walked her steps, did everything her party and constituents asked of her. But this one time, just one time alone, when in her positions of power and leadership, she stepped out of line and it got herself killed. It's not really surprising, saying we've seen this happen over and over again online with cancellations and whatnotness like that. Even Destiny was canceled by the trans community for not supporting men fighting other women in women's sports. So it's not surprising that things have accelerated and radicalized this much already, and have we seen this deranged behavior from online now expressing itself in the real world, where we're seeing political figures actually kick the bucket for not following the proper political beliefs. And you just love to see it. You love to see these people go crazy and tear themselves apart. It's the greatest thing ever. Sure, they shoot up a Republican every here, now, or then, but I could give two shits less about either of them, to be honest. So, who is the killer? Well, there was a tip to them saying, to Crime Watch Minneapolis, saying, we got a tip that the suspect might have, security business connections. And look at this. Coming on out. Breaking, I'm told by police source in Minnesota, the suspect in the shooting of Minnesota state lawmakers is Vance Luther Bolter, a doctor in bullshit. It appears it is the same Bolter who was appointed as the governor's Workforce Development Board in 2019 by Tim Walz, who was also appointed for the same position in 2016 by Mark Dayton. So that's right, this man is behind the scenes political figure within the system. He is a private individual that serves in public positions, being appointed as a private individual to act as a representative or connection to higher industries and multi-billion-dollar companies on top of their investors. Which is why he's there. Which is why he's also such a die-hard radical who would go so far to take another person's life for not towing the liberal line they were put in office to do. He was his job as the security expert here. And I'll post this screenshot up there. And this is Meet the Leadership Team from Praetorian Guard Security Services Leadership Team. We are here to set up a security options and provide security services right to your doorstep and property to keep what you own safe and secure. We bring a wide variety of skills and backgrounds to our leadership to serve you best. And here we have Director of Security Patrols, Vance. Dr. Vance Bolter has been involved with security situations in Eastern Europe, Africa, North America, and the Middle East, including West Bank, Southern Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip. He brings a great security aspect forged by both many of the ground experiences combined with training by both private security firms and by people in the U.S. military. He has worked for the largest U.S. oil refining company, the world's largest food company based in Switzerland, and the world's largest convenience retailer based in Japan. Vance has focused this experience to make sure Praetorian Guard Security Services covers the needs you have to keep your family and property safe. How ironic that the would-be assassin worked for a private company that was there to make people feel safe. But ended up using his skills and capabilities to take another's life. And was currently the CEO of Red Line Group, just a shit-libbed multi-billion-dollar company. Here's some of his experience from LinkedIn, working for big companies. And then here we have this interesting document, which I will post up there. Dr. Vance Bolter, ED, CEO of Red Lion Group, and this is from the Minnesota Africans United Committee. Die-hard lib shit. He's working on the board for Africans in Minnesota. Bringing all of the Chicagos and Somalians together to displace those evil, bigoted whites. Dr. Vance Bolter is a CEO of Red Lion Group based in the Democratic Republic of the Congo? He has all this experience working overseas in Lebanon, Gaza, and all of these things. Surely not. He doesn't have connections to nefarious international, agencies and governments before. No. He has no connections in the FBI and CIA whatsoever. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He is also the CEO of Praetorian Guard Security Services based in Minnesota. Dr. Bolter majored in international relations for his undergraduate degree at St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, also known as St. Somalia these days. He holds his Master's of Science in Management degree and doctorate in leadership for the advancement of learning and service. Oh, he really taught us a lot here today, folks. He taught us to never trust a die-hard lib-shit dipshit. Learning and services from Cardinal Stritch University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Dr. Bolter has worked full-time for some of the largest companies in their fields, such as Nestle, Del Monte, Tethro, Marathon Speedway, and 7-Eleven. He has worked in operations, technical services, quality services, and continuous improvement. Dr. Bolter has experienced in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Currently lives in Minnesota. So this is the man they suspect. This literal cuck, this diehard libshit cuck, who's working with new opportunities of trade investment in Dr. Congo. in Dr. Congo? What the fuck is this even? All I know is it's tied to the Minnesota Africans United. So that's our suspects, and that's why we're hiding in the bushes, and that's why there's police cars, multiple police cars parked out back there, and why I'm hiding from them, because I'm not supposed to be here right now, if you could imagine. So I'm gonna skedaddle on back, get back to my car, and drive off into the sunset. So I've been the King's Fool, and I hope you all have a good one. Because I'm surely am. And let's continue this thing, accelerating it to its conclusion, and that is total destruction. Honest question for all of you. What's crazier? Your political rivals killing one another because they don't agree with each other anymore on silly little trivialist things? Or taking your shoes off to cross the shallow part of a creek so you can actually go film and laugh in a video about your political rivals killing one another in an illegal spot where you shouldn't be at that time. God only knows. But I hope you all enjoyed it.